Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Educationopedia, the School of Future. Today we are going to deal with the topic sources of ancient Indian history. So in the sources of ancient Indian history, we will be dealing with two things: literary sources and archaeological sources. First of all, the sources of Indian history, ancient Indian history is classified into literary sources and archaeological sources. So major literary sources. Major literary sources comprises of Vedic literature like the Brahmana, Aranyaks, Upanishads, Shruti, which is being heard like Satpat Brahmana. Later Vedic literature includes the Puranas and Upanishads, Aranyaks and Brahmins. Next comes the Buddhist literature, which was written in the Pali language. At that time, Sanskrit was the language of special people, and Pali was the language of common people. That's why it was written in Pali. Next, we have the Jain literature, which was also written in the Prakrit language. Pali and Prakrit are the languages which was also known as the Apabhramsha at that time. In Sanskrit also there were many writings like by the Kalidasa and other persons, and foreign accounts like you are having the Greeks. In the Greeks, we know that the Megasthenes visited India, and he was one of the Greek traveler who came to India, and he has written an important book. You know about that, and it is to be known by all that Megasthenes wrote Indica. Next, we come to the Chinese accounts like the Fahen, Yanseng and Tizing. So these were the person who came to India, and they have written about the Indian subcontinent and their culture and the kings in which reign they have came. Like the Megasthenes came in the reign of Chandragupta Maurya. So after that we have the Arabian visitors like the Suleiman al-Baruni. So these were the Arabian visitors who came to India, and you will see to it that when these Arabian visitors are coming and they are writing about our country, they are seeing about our country, and from that sources only today we come to know about, or we take out a picture of most of the things which we are having or which is prevailing in our country, and we write our history on those sources only. After the literary sources, major literary sources, we are having the common perceptions on the literary sources, that literary sources are religious in nature. Yes, like when we get the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, or the stories written by Kalidas like the Meghdut, Abhigyan, Shakuntalam, and many things are there in which we will find the things related to gods, goddesses, some events which are related to your mythology and all those things. We should not call it mythologies, but according to our Indian history, or the Britishers who came India, they have given this part like the Ramayana, Mahabharata as the mythology. Though it's not mythology, it's not a myth. Many things are believed, many sources have been found. So we can simply say that the sources of Indian history which we need to study are also having some literary sources which are religious in nature and improper or insufficient chronology. Though it has tried many things that it should provide a proper chronology, but then also there are certain factors which prevail, and we will find that they are not having a proper chronology, that who was ruling after, especially when we move to the ancient Indian history. In the medieval history and the modern history, we are having most of the records, because at that time printing press and other writing instruments were developed, so that it has a written record, printed record, whatever we can say. But in the ancient history, those were written on the Bhojpatra and all, so that's why there is no clear record, and whatever is being available, on that basis only the things are being assumed. Next is your archaeological sources. In the archaeological sources, it includes the architectural sources. Most of the architectural buildings, like you can see that the Harappa and the Mohenjo-daro civilization was there, Indus Valley civilization was there. Everywhere certain types of constructions have been there. There have been buildings, there have been pots, there have been pottery, there have been different types of homes like the Burza home and Gufkral in Kashmir. They are having the pit houses. So these all things are your architectural sources, from which we also come to know about this ancient Indian history. After that, the excavations. Many excavations have been taken place, and many things are there which you will see that these excavations simply provided us with the sources which things were inside the ground, and later you will see that today we use them as the sources. So these sources are known as the archaeological sources, which has came inside the ground. These things were buried either by the before, or it has naturally buried by any of the calamities. So when these soil is dug out, when the things are taken out, and finally we get something that is known as the excavated object, and it comes to excavation. Next we have the epigraphic sources. In that we have the inscriptions. Many things have been found on written on rock edicts, they have been written on wall, they have been written on pillar, they have been written on coin, they have been written on metal plates. So all these things are known as your epigraphic sources or the inscriptions. By these writings only we come or assume to know that how much they were having knowledge about the letters, symbols, signs, etc. Next is your numismatic sources. Numismatic sources includes the coins, tokens and currencies. So many kings were there. In all the times there have been many kings who have been issuing coins, they have been issuing tokens, they have been making the tablets, and these all things were sent, or these are things were used for trade and other purposes. So these are the numismatic sources. So when we are studying about our ancient history, when we are learning about our ancient Indian history, these things play an important role. Like once again we will see that the Vedic literature includes the Vedas and the Vedangas, means those who have written the Vedas and the Veda itself. Upanishad means one person is having some knowledge throughout the life, he experienced certain thing and finally he wrote the crux of his life, that will be an Upanishad. Aranyaks means Aranyak, one means the forest or the one or the jungle. So those things who are related to the jungle or other things are known as the Aranyakas. Next is your Brahmanas. Brahmanas means the scholar persons who have got some knowledge, or it cannot be only the Brahmins or anything, no such type of thing is there. Brahmanas means the scholar one who has given something, or they have given their knowledge in the form of books, when now we are using it at the Vedas. Puranas, you know that the 18 Puranas are there: Garuda Puran, Vishnu Puran, Shiv Puran, Martand Puran, different Puranas are there. So 18 they are in total in number. So from that also we get the sources. Next, Buddhist literature written in Pali language, Jain literature, Prakrit language. So their books, what they have written, all those things are also the sources. Sanskrit is along also the language of the scholar ones, and foreign accounts of Greeks, Chinese, Arabian people are also available. So these things we have seen. Common perceptions on literary sources, we are saying that it is religious in nature, and second, it is not having a perfect chronology, something is missing. Archaeological sources, again you have the architectural sources like the buildings, excavations have been done and many things have been found out. Epigraphic sources are your inscriptions, and numismatic sources are your coins and other things. So this completes our mind map of the chapter sources of ancient Indian history. I hope that you have understood most of the things in this. If you practice this mind map, you will be able to grasp most of the facts which are present in this chapter of sources of ancient Indian history. I hope you understand the lesson. Thank you for watching.